Hello and welcome our beloved viewers to RTD's News English Edition. As usual, we begin tonight's news with the major and top highlights. Conclusion of a series of training courses for the Djibouti Coast Guard, Djibouti and Japan. A giant aquarium explodes in the middle of a hotel in Berlin, Germany. Those were the major top highlights. Welcome back to our newsroom, our beloved viewers. The Ministry of Interior chaired a second meeting at the Prefecture of Arta in the presence of the Prefects of Regions and the Director General of the National Institute of Statistics of Djibouti for the preparation of the General Census of Population and Housing planned soon in the capital and in the interior regions. The Director General of INSTAD, which is known as Institute of Statistics of Djibouti, who took advantage of this opportunity, explained the different activities programmed in the framework of the census and planning phases with the prefects who are president of the regions, the prefects of the regions who have each expressed their availability and wishes for the smooth running of this vast exercise in their respective districts. For his part, the Minister of the Interior asked the prefects of the regions to support the process of the general population and housing census, which is a strategic and important exercise for our country. The ambassador of the European Union, Mrs. Tabez, visited the city of Arta, accompanied for the occasion by the first consular of the Embassy of France, Mrs. Christelle Cherchin Gomez, to inaugurate two works carried out within the framework of the second phase of the support program to decentralization and local initiatives financed by the European Union and implemented by Expertise France. This event saw the inauguration of a storage shed for the storage of crisis provision equipment, the granting of four Kiscos to support local trade, and finally the laying of the foundation stone of the future Arta bus station. This contribution will support the development of local activities for the benefit of the population of the regions. It should be noted that this project aims to support decentralization reform, capacity building, and local development in the five interior regions for a period of 4 years, and for which the European Union is the main donor. The project is fully consistent with the government's policy to fight poverty in the interior of the country through the development of the five regions. In this context, the project will implement the necessary activities to stimulate decentralization, strengthen governments, and local development. Within the framework of the capacity building project on maritime security safety at sea in its third phase, Djibouti Coast Guard organized the closing ceremony on four training courses on arrest techniques, boarding techniques, and control and investigation of suspicious vessels, which benefited the member of different units, naval means Commando Judicial Brigade of the Djiboutian Coast Guard. The ceremony, which was held on Thursday, December 15, at the Naval Training Center of the Coast Guard, located in Dorali Camp, was jointly chaired by Colonel Waes Umar Bore, commander of the Djiboutian Coast Guard, in the presence of the permanent representative of JICA in Djibouti, Mr. Kaneda Masuyuki, and the commander Takashi of the Mobile Cooperation Team of the Japanese Coast Guard. In a speech delivered on this occasion, the commander of the Coast Guard recalled the close ties of cooperation and collaboration between the institution and its Japanese partners, whether they are JICA, the Japan Coast Guard, or the Mobile Cooperation Team. He took this opportunity to express his gratitude and appreciation to the government and people of Japan for their constant support and their unwavering faith in the work of the Djibouti Coast Guard in the fields of security and maritime safety of the Bab el Mandab and the Gulf of Aden. For his part, the representative of the Japan International Cooperation Agency, JICA, Mr. Kaneda Masuyuki, reiterated his satisfaction on the good cooperation between the GCG and the DCG. These trainings are a new testimony of the efforts put in place to strengthen the development of the operational capacities of the Djiboutian Coast Guard. Finally, the ceremony ended with the presentation of certificates to the participants who benefited from these trainings. Moving to Al-Rahma Hospital now in Balbala led yesterday a multidisciplinary medical caravan to Unity City. In close cooperation with the Ministry of Health, the medical team led by the director of Al-Rahma Hospital, Dr. Muhammad Al-Sharqawi, was received by the prefect of Aden region, Dr. Musa Darar, and the chief physician of Dikhil, Dr. Abbas Umar, and his closest collaborators in this health facility. The new medical convoy of Al-Rahma Hospital included this time 6 specialties, including ophthalmology, pediatrics, generalogy, cardiology, in addition to internal medicine, while the total number of beneficiaries amounted to about 500 people from the capital of the region as its affiliated areas. In a brief speech delivered on this occasion, the chief physician of CMH he stressed the urgent need for this type of medical convoys, allowing patients to receive free specialized medical care. It is worth noting that the Dikhil region is home to the first exemplary village built by the NGO Al-Rahma International by the state of Kuwait, represented by its regional office in Djibouti. As part of the community capacity building activities and advocacy for child protection, SOS Children's Village in Tajurra organized on Wednesday, December 14, 2022, a training workshop on community child protection mechanisms for the community leaders of the White City. The participants had the opportunity to discuss the different abuses caused on children in our community and how we can bring solutions to these real problems. The need to have community protection communities was highlighted, and the important role of partnership because some problems require large means and resources that the community does not have. The community leaders have therefore a preponderant role in the prevention and protection of abuse against children who represent our future. The target groups that are often victims of abuse in the community were clearly identified in order to better protect them and the different types of abuse caused on these children. All the people present recognize that this community protection mechanism cannot work without the participation of all the existing social categories in this community, especially those concerned, the children. The participation was very active, proof that the training met a real need in the community. Following the example of other sites of the capital and the regions, the Secretariat of State in charge of sports in the Ministry of Youth and Culture have installed giant screens in Arta and Dikhil and in the neighboring localities so that the population of these areas can follow the different matches of the World Cup in the best conditions. Every evening, the inhabitants of 2 regions and localities meet to watch the best moments of the World Cup together. It should be noted that sports, especially soccer, by its very nature, is participatory, brings communities and individuals both together. It is based on a message of inclusion, brings out the common elements, and erases cultural and ethnic barriers. As part of the implementation of the new directive, custom officers and soldiers of the security and defense forces have inflicted blows of traffickers in recent days. Thus, the customs of officers of PK-51, reinforced by their colleagues on the road, the Gendarmerie intercepted last Thursday a large quantity of contraband khat. It is about more than 100 kilograms of khat hidden in a bus of public transport belonging to people from this region of the south of the country. In light of the warnings and the drastic measures taken of the importunate and outlaw smugglers, do not cease to continue these activities that sometimes at the expense of their own life. According to the stranded procedure, the seized goods were completely destroyed by fire right on the spot. Still on the context of smuggling, members of the Ali Sibih Customs Brigade in close cooperation with the police detachment of the Ali Sibih region intercepted at the border of Galile a truck carrying a large quantity of smuggled alcoholic beverages from Ethiopia. These interceptions of products illegally introduced into the national territory are part of the actions taken to fight against smuggling of all kinds. During a simple routine control conducted by the mobile team of the customs allowed to intercept this important quantity of alcoholic beverages, brand dry gin. According to the standard procedure in force, this quantity was transmitted to the Customs of Brigade and destroyed on the spot in the presence of the head of the Customs of Brigade of Ali Sibih, Mr. Muhammad Mu'min Hassan. Given the seriousness of the facts, the people involved in this case were placed in custody and will be brought before the courts to answer for their actions. The vehicle last used to transport was confiscated. The prefect of the region, Mr. Musa Adan Migani, congratulated the customs officers of the Ali Sibih region, as well as the police of the professionalism they have shown and their valuable collaboration in the fight against this scourge that is really damaging the economy of our country. At the Fajr prayer of this Friday, December 16, 2022, the late Al-Hajj Kamil Umar Muhammad Kamil, known by all of his humanism, his strong pity, his great esteem and respect for his fellow men, left us. He was 57 years of old and left behind a widow and 4 children. He was a very humble and discreet man. He was a former civil servant of the service of the contribution and also a former illustrious national artist, thanks to whom multiple national stars have shone through his creations. He was a genius, as some people affectionately called him. May the Almighty open the gates of paradise for him and facilitate his accession to better skies. Inna lillah wa inna ilayhi raji'un. Shifting gears towards the international scene now, more than 1 million liters of water and 1,500 tropical fish were spilled in the hall of the establishment. The customers were evacuated, 100 men were mobilized, and the majority artery in downtown Berlin was closed to traffic. The incident occurred around 6 a.m. this Friday morning. In addition to having caused incurable marine damage, the incident caused 2 injuries hit by splinters, which were transported to hospital. The cylindrical aquarium was located in the foyer of the Radisson Blu Hotel. Well, by this, our beloved viewers, we finally conclude this edition. Thank you for being with us, and make sure to tune in later for more. Have a wonderful evening. Take care.